It's going to be a slow drive home tonight for people who use a main artery in downtown Charleston. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rob Macko. The city of Huntington is welcoming 5 new firefighter candidates. They were sworn in this morning at Huntington City Hall. Yeah, very emotional, patriotic wreath-laying ceremony. They talked about how there were 472 Medal of Honor recipients from World War II. Of course, Herschel Woody Williams, the last one. And we begin tonight with breaking news out of Nicholas County, where officials say a deputy and a shooting suspect are both dead. Now, this happened in the Birch River area just before 8 o'clock tonight. Well, Amanda and Marilee, I also got some more information from the NTSB after that news conference, that impromptu news conference was completed. They tell me that that helicopter took off at 4:48 from the Logan County Airport here yesterday afternoon and crashed at 4:57 about 4 miles northeast of here along Route 17. Ellison's kind of a Renaissance man, and he has other interests besides the music business. He's also branched out into the food business. He makes a seasoning called Some Kind of Wonderful Seasoning. We are helping Habitat for Humanity build a house here. It's part of Nexstar's Founders Day of Caring. All the Nexstar stations across the country are volunteering their time to help community causes. You definitely got to thank those first responders, too, for all that they've been doing today with the rescues and everything. Now, the rain does continue to fall, and for that, we're going to go to Chief Meteorologist Spencer Atkins. Spencer. When it comes to the piano, Thompson says you never stop learning. During the pandemic, he played a lot of music and wrote a lot of music. And he has this advice for young, up-and-coming musicians. Just a couple of dads playing some heavy metal, you know, on the side. It's pretty awesome. Byzantine, they're going to be on the stage about 8:30 tonight, as I said. And this winter, they're going to kind of write some new songs. They're going to work on their 7th album, and they hope to go on tour again next year. A man who killed a Charleston police officer will serve the maximum sentence for the crime. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Rob Macko.
And I'm Marilyn McCall. Cassie Johnson's killer apologized for his actions, but a judge says the difference in his life and Officer Johnson's was striking. 13 News reporter Nikki Walters was in the courtroom as Joshua Phillips learned his fate. Nikki, that maximum sentence was what the family was hoping for. A former teacher's aide from Horace Mann Middle School will spend 1 year in jail and get 2 years probation for abusing a special needs student. Walter Pinnell pleaded guilty to 4 counts of misdemeanor battery in May. He's accused of yelling at a nonverbal student and grabbing and jerking their arms. He had been named in several lawsuits filed by parents of special needs students who were abused at the school. Pinnell must self-report to the South Central Regional Jail on August 5th. A Greenbrier County man is accused of causing a crash and killing an unborn child while driving under the influence. 13 News reporter Mariah Davis is live at the South Central Regional Jail with more on this case. Mariah. Well, that's good news for folks traveling through the city. Really hot out there if you're planning on doing any work. We were talking earlier, Spencer, probably consider doing it earlier, late in the day.
Just walk outside and you feel the heat. But, you know, we're also expecting some severe storms later this evening. So Spencer's here to tell us about those.
Yeah, we do have kind of a two-pronged kind of situation.
The city of Huntington is welcoming 5 new firefighter candidates. They were sworn in this morning at Huntington City Hall. Mayor Steve Williams thanked them for their willingness to protect and serve their community. The new recruits are Aiden Sperry, Timothy Clark, Braden Johnson, Christopher Wilson, and Michael Neese. Fire department leaders say there is a staffing shortage, so they are happy to have these new team members sworn in and ready to work. And they're not wasting any time either. The new recruits started their hands-on training today after that ceremony ended. Well, let's go outside and check out live traffic. That's the I-64-77 split where we had all those problems yesterday. The road, as you can see on the right-hand side, back open now. You're watching 13 News at 5. West Virginians could soon see some more money in their pockets from proposed income tax cuts.
The governor is calling lawmakers in for a special session. 13 News chief political reporter Mark Curtis joins us now with the latest. Mark.
Students in Chesapeake, Ohio will see a new addition to their schools this fall, metal detectors. 13
News reporter Anna King spoke with people in the community to get their thoughts.
Hot. It's so hot that it melts the word hot. Watch this. 94, 95, 96.
We have to make our own sound
effects.
melting.
I'm melting. Oh my goodness.
Bring in the showers and storms next week. It does look soggy and muggy. Look at that, 89 with a cold front on Monday. So this is the heat of the summer.
I'm still looking at the words melting.
They're just melting.
It's like 96.
The clouds look pretty at least. Enjoy that from the AC.
Yep.
Exactly.
Spencer, thanks so much.
All right, we're back right after this.
Hi, welcome back. Earlier this month was the return of the Charleston Sternwheel Regatta, and after a 14-year hiatus, it couldn't have been possible without putting safety first.
And so that's why this month's 13 Gives Back Award goes to the Charleston Police Department, Charleston Fire Department, and Kanawha County EMS for everything they did to make the regatta the success that it was. Now, all of those agencies recognized today say their main goal during regatta was representing their city and keeping everyone safe.
I'll say this, it was a noticeable amount of them out there. For sure.
Absolutely. And of course, West Virginia American Water, a proud sponsor of 13 Gives Back. And we just found out that the city, the Regatta Commission, and the CVB, they're going to be announcing the economic impact of the regatta tomorrow afternoon at 1. So that should be pretty interesting to find out just how much money that regatta brought into our city.
And despite it raining a couple times, it was still great. The weather was great. Such an awesome turnout. I mean, that event was top notch.
So I'll just translate that. Y'all are a lot to handle, so they handled it. So that's that's the way to put that.
All right, so tonight, I know we're talking about heat, but we're also looking at some storms.
So, right, 2 points. One is the heat, and then that'll kind of go away at about 8 o'clock, get into the shadows, and we're fine. Then we'll wake up tomorrow at about 72 degrees. Those storms will be gone.
All right, that's a good thing. Well, thank you so much for watching 13 News at 5.
Thanks for joining us. West Virginia Tonight is coming up next.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Nicholas County, where officials say a deputy and a shooting suspect are both dead. Now, this happened in the Birch River area just before 8 o'clock tonight. We have team coverage for you this evening. 13 News anchor Amanda Barron is joining us live from Nicholas County near the scene, and 13 News reporter Andy Bernhardt is at CAMC General Hospital in Charleston. We're going to start with Amanda Barron. Amanda, what can you tell us? Amanda, thanks a lot. Tough night in Nicholas County and throughout the region. Now, as we mentioned at the top of the show, officials do tell us that a deputy is dead. Also, one of the shooting suspects is dead as well. Now, there was an active police scene today in Charleston tonight over at CAMC General Hospital. That's the trauma center. That's where, if needed, helicopters would fly in to take care of anyone who was badly hurt. And that's where 13 News reporter Andy Bernhardt is right now. Andy, tell us what you see right now. Andy, thanks so much for that report. All right, West Virginia State Senator Stephen Baldwin, who represents several counties, including Nicholas County, released this statement about an hour ago, saying in part, "Please keep Nicholas County in your prayers tonight as a deadly active shooter incident unfolded. Details will be made available soon by local authorities." And of course, we're working to get more information for you. We will keep you updated both on air and online on our website, WOWKTV.com. Moving on to other news now. They have wrapped up a second day of jury selection in the case against Joshua Phillips. Now, he's the man accused of shooting and killing Charleston police officer Cassie Johnson in December of 2020. No jurors have been seated yet, but after 2 days of questioning, some of the potential jurors have been asked to come back on Monday. Investigators say Phillips shot Officer Johnson while she responded to a call about a parking complaint on Garrison Avenue. Right now, the trial is scheduled to start on June 13th. A man charged in the death of a former University of Charleston and Wahama football player, Kane Roush, was arraigned today in Meigs County, Ohio. Roush was shot and killed in Pomeroy. This happened early Easter Sunday of 2021. The judge entered a not guilty plea for Richard Walker since he doesn't have an attorney yet. Now, Walker's bond was set at $2 million. Walker, who you see here, and his co-defendant, Keontae Nelson, they've been indicted on 6 counts, including murder and conspiracy for Roush's death. Now, a third man, Jaquan Hall, was indicted for aggravated murder in this case last year. His trial is scheduled to start in September. All 3 men are from the Charleston area. In other local headlines, no one was injured after a gun was fired during a fight in a store parking lot. This was in Vinton County, Ohio, and it was all thanks to an innocent bystander. According to the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to the Family Dollar in Wilkesville yesterday. Deputies say the suspect and another individual had gotten into some kind of fight in the store's parking lot. The Sheriff's Office says during the fight, the suspect, identified by deputies as Shane Bryant, allegedly tried to draw a pistol. He is now behind bars at the Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail. A Fayette County mom charged with felony child neglect after deputies say they found her toddler wandering on a road alone. Now, deputies driving down Boomer Branch Road say last night they saw a toddler walking in the road with no shoes on and no adults anywhere in sight. And they say it took them 10 minutes to find the child's mother, 22-year-old Taylor Falbo. She told them she went into another room to change another child's diaper and returned to find that her toddler was gone. Falbo charged with gross child neglect, creating risk of serious injury or death. All right, we're learning new information on a story that we've been following for a few weeks now out of Boyd County. Tonight, a lease agreement for a county-owned property has been approved. And as 13 News reporter Lane Ball tells us, it's expected to house a new horse track and gaming center. Spencer, thanks. Well, June is Pride Month, and one city is receiving praise from the LGBTQ plus community for its efforts to make everyone feel welcome. For the first time in history, the city of Huntington is recognizing Pride Month by flying a rainbow flag outside City Hall. 300 business owners have taken the city's Open to All pledge, which started in 2018. Now, each business displays a sticker that says Open to All. Huntington Pride is hosting a variety of events all month long. Their first will be their Drag Me to Brunch at the Ritter Amphitheater this Sunday morning at 11. And I'm Rob Macko. Now, he got the magazine away from a student who authorities say planned to shoot someone at Ripley Middle School 2 weeks ago.
As a dad, speaking on behalf of all these other parents in Jackson County, thank you, son.
West Virginia Sheriff's Association Director Rodney Miller got emotional thanking Grant Parsons for his actions on a Jackson County school bus the morning of April 6th. Parsons, a Ripley High School student, says he saw two brothers fighting on the bus. Parsons says the younger boy had a gun and told Parsons he was going to use it.
I asked him if it was real. He pulled it out. I seen it, told, and then he was loading it, said he was going to get his way out of trouble. Took the magazine from him, turned it in.
Parsons alerted the bus driver who stopped at Evans Elementary School, where authorities confiscated the gun and took the two brothers into custody.
I just knew that on the bus wasn't the right place for it, so I had to do something to get rid of it.
You did what a lot of adults couldn't bring themselves to do. You put yourself in harm's way to ensure the safety and the well-being of everybody on that bus.
At Tuesday night's Jackson County Board of Education meeting, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, School Board, and West Virginia Sheriff's Association recognized Parsons.
It's something that has been taught for quite some time as to see something, say something. Well, he did something a little different. He saw something and did something.
Authorities say Parsons likely saved lives that day. They say the teenager with the gun intended to use it.
I think we all owe him a debt of gratitude that we averted what could have been a very tragic situation.
And the 15-year-old boy who had the gun was arrested. So was his 16-year-old brother. Authorities won't say who the intended target was, but say the older brother stole the gun from one of the boy's neighbors. Parsons says he's glad he stepped in and says his mom is awfully proud of him. He's also now an honorary deputy sheriff for the Jackson County Sheriff's Office.
I wish it could be completely adjusted for the rate of inflation, but this is a check to pay you back what the union took from you.
A special ceremony honored 79-year-old bass player Johnny Smith Saturday at Levi First Missionary Baptist Church in Rand. American Federation of Musicians Local 136 President Mike Pushkin apologized to Smith, the only surviving member of the band The In Crowd, which was punished for taking a stand against racism in 1968.
I don't think that this necessarily makes things right. I think justice deferred is still justice denied. What this reaffirms is that Mr. Smith and his bandmates were right.
So what happened? First, a little history. Johnny Smith was a popular musician in the Charleston area. He bought his first bass guitar at 18 while stationed in Germany with the U.S. Army. When he returned home, he began playing in rock and jazz bands throughout the Charleston area. He once played with Otis Redding in Beckley and did several shows with John Lee Hooker in Charleston.
Talk that talk right now.
Yeah, I sat in with him. I played with him. I found him to be a good musician, a personable type of guy.
Smith worked as a lineman with the power company by day and played music on nights and weekends. And one night, the racism of the 60s was something he couldn't ignore. Johnny Smith says that in 1968, he and his band members were playing on the third floor of the Charleston Athletic Club, which was on Kanawha Boulevard at the time. He says a black man and white woman sat down at one of the tables, but no one served them.
They just sat there and they sat there and they sat there. And I think they danced a couple times, and then when they sat back there, nobody had come, and this was an appreciable amount of time. It was over 15 minutes.
Smith says he and his bandmates talked about it and decided to tell the manager about the situation, but they were ignored.
Since he still didn't send anybody to wait on, just continued ignoring, we quit playing.
Smith says taking that stand led them to being kicked out of the club. Worse, the musicians union fined each member $150, which would be more than $1,100 today.
It actually enraged me to the point, like I said, I never joined the union again. I never went back.
Johnny's son Brian says gigs only paid about $30 back then, so the $150 fine was significant.
He was married. You know, it wasn't just him. So when they levied that fine on him, they knew full well what they were doing, and they were going to teach him a lesson.
Brian says hearing the story over the years angered him, but he hopes the union's actions on Saturday will give his parents some peace.
It says a lot about the evolution of the union and the mindset. It says a lot about the evolution of the area.
Brian's longtime friend Joe Slack got the ball rolling, telling Pushkin how the union treated Johnny Smith back then. To make amends, the union reinstated Johnny Smith and paid him back $250.
Seeing justice almost done is just as important as being strong enough to forgive. And so I'm thankful that I was able to see that. I really am.
In Rand, Rob Macko, 13 News, working for you.